Hi, guys. Welcome to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio, and I am super excited to be here to share my thoughts, share my opinions with you, because that way I can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest that happens, not just here in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right. So don't forget to be a part of the show. Don't forget to share your thoughts and opinions with me because that would be absolutely amazing. All right. All you need to do is just text me on 078 share your thoughts, share your opinions because that would be absolutely amazing. And that way you can make sure that everyone gets to hear your side of the story, your side of the conversation as well. All right. So don't forget to do that. And now, before we actually head into the conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can, in fact, go download the app because that's available for free download on both the Apple App Store and the Google App Store as well. All right. And that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated about the very latest. And also something else you can do is to go like us on our Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. All right. Because that way you can actually make sure that you're always updated and you're listening to the latest news. You know everything about science, health, technology, entertainment, gossip, finance, whatever it is that you're looking for. You can make sure that you're updated about all of that if you stay tuned to Relax Radio. So go like us on Facebook, follow us on the rest of it, and also don't forget to download our app and don't forget to get in touch with me, contact me, share your thoughts and share your opinions because I would love to hear what you have to say. All right. And now let's actually head back into our show because obviously something we need to talk about is why exactly medical schools need to teach their students about the climate crisis, right? Why exactly do you think they need to teach their kids? Is it important? What kind of effect does climate crisis have on medicine, and why is it such an important thing? All right. Now I know you have all of these questions, but don't worry because I'm here to answer all of that, and I'm here to make sure that you're always updated on all of that. So make sure you stay tuned. All right. And now let's actually head into our conversation because we're going to be talking about why exactly medical schools must teach their students about the climate crisis, about climate change. All right. So make sure to stay tuned and let me know your thoughts and answers. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this. All right. So to actually discuss the climate crisis, now medical students are actually demanding that their schools include the climate crisis as a core component of their curriculum, right? And this is essentially because there is intensifying climate emergencies all over the world. All right. And this also highlights the corresponding health crisis, right? Because to be quite honest, when you have people who are affected by natural disasters, who are affected by air pollution, who are affected by water pollution, then all of those people will then come to the hospital, right? But also climate change affects a lot of people, right? People from poorer communities, people from developing countries, they're much more affected by climate change than we are. Okay, so that's why it's important to teach the medical students about climate change, about the climate crisis, because in when they're treating these patients, when they're treating people who are ill, they have to take into consideration how there are inequalities, how there's differences, especially when it comes to treating different patients from different backgrounds, different communities, different ethnicities, and different countries, right? Now, that is basically the problem that is there right now. All right. Now, Hannah Chase, who happens to be a final year medical student actually at Oxford, said that this sense of urgency actually hit her when recently she was talking with a fellow student, and that student confessed that they didn't believe in climate change. All right. So the thing is, that's really scary. Imagine going to medical school. Imagine, your parents spending money and sending you to education, sending you to medical school to become a doctor, and you don't believe in the climate crisis, right? And this is the truth. There is a lot of misinformation that exists. There is a lot of there's a lot of misinformation that exists, and there is a lot of fake news as well that is there, that prevents these people, it prevents young students from understanding the effect or the impact of climate change on our society as a whole, right? Now, what Chase said then was that it just shows that we make so many different assumptions about literally anything and everything, right? And that's why this sort of education is important. This sort of education is needed because of all of these assumptions that we make, right? And now, presently we've seen these extreme weather events. We've seen heat waves, we've seen wildfires, floods, storms, and droughts, and these are in fact increasing in frequency and intensity. So if anything, that will just show these widening existing health inequalities. Like for example, something that is very recent, something that we can all understand, and something that we all agree is this whole problem of vaccine inequality, right? Because you have richer countries like the United Kingdom, like the United States, that are available to have all of that vaccines, whereas you have poorer countries that aren't necessarily available, or rather they don't necessarily have the capacity or the capability to actually to actually get vaccines, right? And this is in fact why I'm telling you, with the climate crisis is when you're going to understand, or when you're going to realize that we have all of these existing health inequalities, and that is going to get much much worse, right? Now this is in fact this has in fact been known to traumatize victims, and also the precipitating loss of food security, homes, and even livelihood has just honestly just made life hard, not just for you and I, but for a lot of people in the world, right? Now, climate change and its fossil fuel powered drivers, such as urbanization and intensive agriculture that basically encroach on wildlife habitats, are in fact encouraging pathogens to jump from animals into humans, all right? So basically, that is what the conversation is. Now, make sure you stay tuned because we're going to head into a small break. And after that, we will be back to discuss more of this. But until then, make sure that you stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. It's your girl Sarah right here on Relax Radio. And I'm super, super excited to be here because, obviously we're having a very interesting and important conversation with regard to everything that is going on, not just in the United Kingdom, but in fact all over the world as well. All right. So before we actually head into this conversation, I want to very quickly remind you that you can in fact be a part of the show. All you need to do is just text me or call me on 078 52473473. Share your thoughts, share your opinions, because I would absolutely love to hear everything that you have to say. All right. Now, something else that you need to keep in mind is that we're basically there on every social media platform. All right. So go like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and make sure that you're always informed and updated about everything that we are talking about, right? Because here at Relax Radio, we want to make sure that we give you the very best and the very latest information. We want to make sure that you're always updated and about what is happening all over the world. All right. So make sure to share your your thoughts and share your opinions with me. But also don't forget to go like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, because that way you can actually make sure that you're always informed and updated, and you're always aware of the very latest in terms of science, health, technology, whatever it is that you want to be informed about. You can actually make sure that you're informed about all of that. All right. Now, something else that you need to keep in mind is that our app is also available for download, and that way you can actually make sure that you download the app and you listen into our conversation from anywhere you are in the world at any time of the day. All right. And now let's actually head back into the conversation. But before we talk about why exactly medical schools need to teach children about the climate crisis, I want to very quickly talk about, breast cancer and how aspirin could potentially be the treatment for breast cancer. All right. Now, I want to very quickly tell you that here in the United Kingdom, one of the most commonly found cancers are, in fact, breast cancer. And it's not just something that only women, it's not just something that only women experience, but it is, in fact, something that men experience as well, right? Although it's very rare for men to actually have breast cancer, it doesn't mean that it's impossible, right? Because there are men as well that have gotten diagnosed with breast cancer, right? And because because so many people have been diagnosed with breast cancer and so many people are seeking treatment for it, they've actually found that aspirin could potentially be the way that you could treat certain cancers, right? And how this research works and how this comes about essentially is aspirin is, it's cheap, it's widely available, so many people can use it for whatever it is that they're doing, right? So it's something that's very accessible, not just for people in the United Kingdom or even the United States. It's something that's accessible for a lot of other people all over the world, right? So when things like that happen, so because of because they found aspirin and they know how exactly it works, they're now actually having these trials where they're giving people aspirin simultaneously to the immunotherapy treatment that they get. And basically what happens then is that aspirin actually stops or aspirin actually makes these cancerous tumors that you have in your body much more sensitive to immunotherapy. And through that, what basically happens is that it actually helps these cancerous tumors to become more sensitive to immunotherapy, which means that the therapy that they give will actually now work. And this is absolutely positive news for a lot of women out there, especially women who are suffering from breast cancer, especially women who have been told, look, this isn't working for you, so you have to expect the worst. Especially for women like that, this is a lot of positivity. It is a lot of positive news, and definitely something that will make them much more hopeful, make them much more cheerful and joyful for the future that they are, for the future that is, yet to come. All right. And that is how this works. Now, this is just being this is in the stages of being tested right now. However, they haven't fully tested all of it. However, what that means is if this actually works out, if this trial actually goes according to plan and whatnot, that will actually help all of these people feel so much better about their condition. Because I can't even begin to fathom how heartbreaking and how terrifying it must be to find out that you have a cancer diagnosis, right? Because cancer is something that is very serious, and more often than not, there is in fact an alarming rate of increase in terms of people who are diagnosed with cancer, right? And it's so heartbreaking, it's so terrifying, and it's so scary to be told, look, what, you have cancer and you need treatment. And the other fact of the matter is cancer treatment is really expensive, right? These drugs that you use for different types of cancers are in fact very expensive, and it's only certain people that can actually afford this sort of cancer treatment, right? So to make sure that is there, to make sure that these people feel better, to make sure that these people have some positivity in their lives and something to look forward to, this aspirin could definitely be definitely be absolutely amazing for them. All right. And I think this is some amazing news coming through for us for this week, because we've heard so many terrible upsetting news these past few days, right? So that's absolutely amazing, with all of these people now having an additional chance or some extra time to actually be with their friends, be with their family, and make sure that they feel better. All right. And now we're actually going to head into a small break, and after that we will be back to discuss, why exactly Lake District is in peril, and why exactly climate change has a huge impact on all of that. But until then, make sure that you stay tuned, because we're going to head into a small break now, and after that we will be back to discuss all of this.
The valuations that you place on an asset are always behind you. It's always in hindsight. It's never in front of you. And that's one of the challenges, right? Because you're always valuing what happened yesterday, and what you need is what's going to happen tomorrow. What am I saving or investing for? Why am I doing it? When will I need the money? And how much money do I need? Yeah. So that's quite important, because when you're looking at your net worth, you've got to start with saying,